Hello, and welcome to the show, and thank you for joining and being a part of this journey that I'm on. Now, if you've seen the last video that I released, it is the Streets of Rage trilogy that I've just completed, and we're going to talk about it. Yeah, it was a childhood staple of mine. So, Streets of Rage 1, I owned that with a 6 game collection on the Mega Drive slash Genesis for you Americans and anywhere else. And on that, it had columns, Italia 90, Super Hang On, Streets of Rage, Golden Axe, and Revenge of Shinobi. And Streets of Rage was my favourite. I thought, what a game! And what a game it was! And it blew me away. It did. And especially when you played co op with the double moves you could do. Then Streets of Rage 2 came out of nowhere. Arguably the greatest game ever made. Definitely the greatest beat 'em up ever made. If you got any disagreements, let me know. But for me, it was my standout game from my childhood. We'll talk about Streets of Rage 3 later. It's not all bad. And you ask, why revisit it now? I I first played Streets of Rage before I was 10. I'm coming up 40. So we're talking 30 years ago. 30 years ago. Probably more. And it blew me away. You could walk the streets and beat them up. I played Double Dragon before that. But this was so much better. So much better. Then Streets of Rage 2 comes along and blows it out of the water. And that was my childhood game. I had to buy Streets of Rage 3, and it was so hard. It was so hard, and we'll get onto that. But let's just get this out here now. This is a reflection, not a review. But this is my personal experience, my nostalgia, a conversation about the games. Okay? And that's where I am with this. So let's kick off with Streets of Rage 1. My first memories of Streets of Rage 1 was, as I said, my first Mega Drive game. That before this I had a NES, right? So I got this Mega Drive. Amazing bit of kit. You wouldn't understand if you weren't there. And my first game was that Mega Collection of the 6 games. And I played it crazy. I don't know how many times I've completed Streets of Rage, but it was something I loved doing. I knew everything, and Adam was my favourite character on there because of how high he could uppercut someone and can boot him across the screen. And it's a game that just never it would have never aged if Streets of Rage 2 didn't come out. It has some of the best music in any video game, and the atmosphere that it brings into it. You feel like you're on the streets, like seriously kicking ass, and it's awesome. It's awesome. It felt really slow when playing it today because you got no sort of mechanics of running or anything, so it did feel slow. Um, and playing it in this age, it does feel like it's aged a bit. The first game we're talking about, yeah. It so it is it's slower. It just is, and it's not as good graphically as I'd remembered. But there's things on it that still work better than even Streets of Rage 2, right? The co-op, when you're playing two-player and you can throw your old mate across the screen and they do a flying kick into someone, that's amazing. Why didn't they keep that in? I think it might have been in Streets of Rage 3. I can't remember. But the things that have aged in the game, the graphics definitely aged. I felt that. The slow movement aged. The the rain graphics have aged. But there's not too much stuff that made me feel like I'm playing an old game. So it's held up well. It's held up really well. Um, if we do a comparison of how I felt when I was playing it back then to now, my memories back then was wow, what a game. And now it's like I know what's coming up after this. So I was playing it with obviously not with fresh eyes, so I wasn't that kid playing it anymore, but it brought back so much nostalgia. And giving you that multiple ending at the end is a pain. Yeah. If you don't know what to do, then you have to go through it from stage 6 again, which I didn't do in the playthrough, which you can go and watch. But yeah, it met to. I was relatively happy playing that game. It met what I've remembered. I have played it since then, and there's playthroughs of this on this channel. I'll be playing it since then, comparing the different versions of the game and stuff. But this footage I've done now is the trilogy in one video, no commentary, just for you to watch. So let's move on to the next game, shall we? Streets of Rage 2. Now, my expectations going in as a kid for Streets of Rage 2 was this has got to be better than what I've just played. Or even not even that. This is going to be better than I've just played. I can't wait to play this game. I remember buying it and the box art was so good. And getting home, I was so excited to get home and putting it in. And that game lived in that Mega Drive for so long. The amount of times I completed it. My go-to character was Max for some reason, and I remember all my mates being, "Oh, God, he's dead slow." But I used to like wrestling then, and the wrestling you can do in that game was funny and good. Like the atomic drop was like so overpowered. It was so overpowered in that game. But yeah, it was just like I'm expecting this to be great. And then the expectations now when I went to replay it, bear in mind I didn't play it that long ago, a couple of years ago maybe, was this is gonna be a great game. This isn't gonna have aged. This is gonna be great. And then when you turn it on, right? Both times, both set of eyes, the young set of eyes, today's set of eyes, you turn it on and there's an immediate improvement. The game looks so much better. Your sprites are so much bigger. For me, the music's better, but there's an argument there. I'm not going to get into that argument. Both games have great music. Um, it was just larger than life. The levels felt bigger and longer, and it felt like there's more elements of things that was happening in today's world around it. For example, the alien level that was absolutely brilliant. The wrestler who looked like Ultimate Warrior. There's just aspects of that day and age in the game. And if they'd done it now, it would have been copywritten. I'm sure it would have been. I'm sure they would have been sued. But it didn't matter because then they didn't, and it was brilliant. And the combat flow in that game was so fluid. Like it was brilliant. Like you had more controls. You had more things you could do, and it was just really good how you could hit behind you at mid combo. It was great. And the music really did impact me from that game. It's like I turned it on and I just loved the music. It was really good. It wasn't like today where you could get proper songs on games. These songs were made for that game. It wasn't an artist or anything like that. It was a song made for the game for what the system could meet. And we know the Sega Mega Drive's system wasn't the greatest sounding system, right? But what they did with them games was amazing, and it should never have happened. It was brilliant, and the way that they prioritized the enemies as well. Now you had different color of the same enemies that had slightly bigger lives, and you had different bosses that could do more to you, like Blanca from Street Fighter. You know, there was so much more they could do, and it was just epic, epic. While I'm thinking of enemies, I did forget to mention in Streets of Rage 1, Mona and Lisa, my God, they were extreme. Leaving that there. This game for me is the one out of the series because it blew my mind. It really blew my mind. And I think it blew a lot of people's minds around that time. It was a game that didn't only live up to expectations, it blew it out of the water and it's timeless. It's so timeless. And I recommend anyone go and play it now. It's that good. It still deserves to be up there as the greatest beat 'em up of all time. And I honestly believe it is the greatest beat 'em up of all time. I'd love to hear your opinions because that's what this channel's about, is for your opinions and your views. I've got a puppy on the floor that's trying to go over my wires. Come here. Okay, sit there. Right then. It's time to talk about the Black Sheep. Streets Rage 3. I was quite looking back at it now, I regret this. Right. I got Streets Rage 3. I think I got it for Christmas. It's worth a small fortune now. I wish I kept the game, but I didn't. And it is one of those games that I turned on and I was like, I want to be the new character. Zan, whatever his name is. Zod, I don't know. And picked up a weapon and he threw it. And it turned to electrical. I'm like, what's this? What's this? I hated him. I hated being him. And I was like, what's going on? And this time around, I didn't even play as him because he's left that much of a stain on my mouth. I think I was Axel because why not? He's great. But with Streets Rage 3, a lot of you will know this, and maybe some of you won't. The European and American versions, the difficulty was ramped up. So your easy mode in this game was Japanese version's normal mode. And to progress as far as you can, you need to be on normal, which was Japanese hard mode. So we had no choice in Europe when this game came out, but to have the European version. So we had to play it on normal, so we was playing on hard. I don't know. I could play Streets Rage 3 on the hardest, 2 on hardest, sorry, and I would do really well. And I think I could still do it today. I played all games in normal to keep it easy, yeah, keep it for a long play. But Streets of Rage 3 was, I remember it being so hard to the point I stopped playing it. I went back to Streets of Rage 2. It, I don't know, it just felt too much. It was faster and it was so much harsher on you. It it was. I didn't like it when it came out. I didn't like it when it came out. Now what it does do right, and I wish the other games did do it, was the ability to unlock characters. Because you can unlock Kangaroo and you can unlock Shiva. I think that's only two, but still, you could unlock these characters, and that made playback a proper feature. Because like on Street Race 2, you could be four characters, you can play them back, but in this one, you went up to what was it, six? And you had to unlock them by, for example, the kangaroo. You couldn't kill the kangaroo when you're fighting him and his boss. That's how you unlock him. Can't remember how you unlock Shiva. But that really does do that right. But what it's missing is the identity of Streets of Rage. They went a little bit futuristic, and you can hear it in the music. Now, I'll tell you something about the music like that. This is quite controversial. The music stands up better today than it did when it come out because it goes along with more of what the youth would listen to today than what it did when it came out. And Streets Rage 1 and 2, music was better for the day than now. But because it's got a place in the hearts of the guys and girls that played the games at the time, their music is better for us. But for the new kids, I'm pretty sure Streets Rage 3 music you'll be loving more. Now, this is where Streets Rage 3 it sounds better for you. My opinion's changed. Playing this game today, first time I've played it, by the way, since I was a kid. Wow. What an innovative game. Now, um, I played the proper Streets of Rage 3 version because I didn't want to go onto the bare knuckle version when. Oh no, I didn't. I did. Sorry, I'm lying to you. I was going to do the Streets of Rage 3 version, but I couldn't get past a bit. So I did go to the bare knuckle 3 version. So yeah, I was in the Japanese version, which the game was much better. They kept the original clothes for the characters, by the way, which I never knew. So you didn't have yellow and black for Axel, you had his white and blue. But anyway, the improved the game holds up much better playing it today than it did back then because I got to play what was supposed to be the version that everyone got. They changed the story in the European American one because they didn't want a nuclear war. That's what Bare Knuckle 3 was about, the original game. And I couldn't read the text because it was in Japanese, but you get the gist of the pictures. It was so, like I said, so innovative. So it was futuristic, yes. The enemies, amazing. The amount of moves you could do compared to Streets of Rage 1 and 2, amazing. The multiple choices, amazing. The way that there's a maze in a prison where you had a timer to find two people before you could. No, you had destroyed two systems before you can find the bloke in charge to rescue him. Amazing. It was all amazing. I was shocked. I was like, why didn't I love this game when I was younger? Then I remembered because I played the European version. And if we got the Japanese version, what a trilogy we would have had back as kids. The trilogy didn't flow because of that reason. So you had one and two flew into each other so well. They're three, which was on her. We got our Japanese version. One, two, and three would have just been hit, hit, hit. It and you know what was nice about each game? And I'm going to put each game as Bare Knuckle 3 is the one that we had because that's how it should have been. And that's how I'm going to look at it as a present, all right? So, a nice thing is the natural changes between the games. So, you had the first one, which was like a prototype, yeah? That when they did great jobs, they used the police cars. One of the power moves, special moves, got erased from the game for some reason. They both have missiles that go up, and the one that they kept is like a circle of flames. But there's another one that's like loads of fireballs smashing into the floor that went. I don't know why, and it's a shame because I enjoyed that. Weird, and then flowing from that into Streets Rage 2, where you got special moves, it just felt right. And it felt like a natural progression, even though Streets Rage 2 was pretty much a remake of Streets Rage 1. It had a different story, but your levels were basically the same. Your boss was the same. It was all basically the same. Yeah, it was a remake, and that's why I think Streets of Rage 2 holds up better than Streets of Rage 1. Because if Streets of Rage 1 was its own game and Streets of Rage 2 was a whole different scenario of levels, it might not have been so one-sided on which game was best. And then it flows into the third game, which Japanese version wasn't. It improved the game so much because your moves were better, and you had a power bar where a blue bar that goes up, and once that's filled, you get another special move again, and it just all flew so nice into each other. The only thing that changed was the third one's music didn't really hit the same at the time as the other two. But like I said, nowadays I think it will hit better with the kids than the first two. And that's the biggest surprise was Streets of Rage 3, how good it was to what I remembered. And that surprised me because I did the playthrough first of number one, then number two, and then I was putting off number three because I really wasn't looking forward to it. And wow, I was happily surprised. Now, what playing these three games from a kid and replaying them today, and I know I've done one and two before, but today was really about playing it and imagining playing it when I first played them and having that memories while playing it. Those three games, especially the first two, means so much to me because of what they brought to me as a child. Right? I didn't have the best childhood, but what I did have was some games to go on and play, and these games were amazing for me. And I'll tell you something, playing them today, the nostalgia really has held up. And not just that, I'm so happy that I've brought in Streets Rage 3 into the mix. Because if I ever go back to play them now, I will play all three, not just the first two. So yeah, I would definitely revisit them, and that's something I would say to everyone who's watching and wants this conversation to be joint with, is go play these games. Number one, you're going to find it a bit frustrating because it is slower and jankier than the last two. But the way it's all set up, you don't need to play number one if you don't want to. Just play two and three, because two is basically a remake of one. If you disagree with that, let me know. Because when I played one and two pretty much back to back, and I felt like I was playing an improved version of Streets of Rage 1 when I was playing Streets of Rage 2. And I've not played them back to back like that before. So out of the three games, I'm never going to rank games in this series to tiers or anything like that. But what I will do is, when I've got a trilogy like this, is I'm going to give you my opinion on which one's the best. Now, for nostalgia, the best are two, one, three. All right. For me, that's my nostalgia better. Two, one, three. Playing them now, the best are two, three, one. I want everyone who watches to please tell me, who have played all three games, where you'd rank these games, because I am so interested to know what other people's opinions are. Because doing research and stuff to try and get, because obviously the full gameplays that I do, I just do them and release them. But for these sit down chats about the game, I'm trying to do research. And not many people are being real about the three games. They talking about what they think the viewer wants to hear. I'm telling you purely from my point of view. So I want a real engagement about what people really think. And I really would love to know where you would put these three games against each other. And I hope you do. Now, I'm going to finish this off with talking about some future reflections, okay? This game, these games, playing them again, I didn't know what I was done with these games. And I'm not now playing them. This isn't the final time I'm going to play it. And the Streets of Rage 4, which I've got. And I didn't enjoy that much when it first came out, but maybe I will now. I want to play Streets of Rage 4, but I don't know if I'm going to play it and make a video or just play it. If you guys would like a video, let me know in the comments. It's not something I'm going to do yet, so you got time to just let me know. If only one person wants it, I will do it. I'm not asking for so many to do it. It's like if I can make one person life a little bit more enjoyable to watching the game, I'll do it. But yeah, these games will hold up, and I think they'll hold up while people are gaming. And if you haven't played these games and they missed you by, what, play them. You're not going to lose anything, and anything, you're going to see how games were made, and they were so polished. You don't get your bugs. They were made to last, and these games are great. And that's where I'm going to end it, guys. I really want to thank you for watching. I'd love it if you like this video and subscribe. It's something this channel's been struggling to do. I rebooted this a new series, and I was doing another one, which it isn't finished. I'm just taking a small break because it's taking a lot of my time, and this one's taking time, but this one's enjoyable because I'm doing things that I love. So thank you for taking your time to listen to me, and I will catch you. What shall we do next? Might do another Nintendo game. Maybe. All right, thank you, and I will catch you next week.